Jó napot kívánok mindenkinek. I understand I'm supposed to speak English. I hope that this can be followed by everyone. After that, of course, I'm ready to answer one or two questions in Hungarian if need be. So I'll be very brief. As you know, the relations between the two countries are excellent. We just made a brief inventory of different forms of cooperation which we are having between university, between exchange funds, and we agreed that, of course, we will develop our relations in every possible area: trade, economic relations in general, culture, education, also in the future. But the main subject this morning has been, of course, the presidency of Lithuania of the European Union. This is a presidency which has been going on now for a while. As you know, it's always a 6 month period. It will come to an end by the end of this year. And we discussed various ongoing issues. And I find that this has been extremely important and instructive, especially for the Hungarian side. What I would like to establish, maybe it's premature, but still I take the risk, that Lithuanian presidency is doing a very good job in a fairly complex situation. And if Lithuanian presidency continues this also for the rest, that is another 2 months, practically until Christmas, because in Christmas life starts in the European Union. I think this will be a very, very, very good presidency according to everybody's assessment. I wouldn't get into all the details what we discussed, such as budget and MFF and banking union. I would also mention that, of course, another important subject of our discussions has been the Vilnius summit, end of next month, which will be an extremely important development for European Union, for Eastern Partnership, of course, for Eastern Partnership countries. I would only say briefly that we agree on all important issues here, and we are both interested in a very, very successful Vilnius summit, which would mean basically the signing of the association agreement and the free trade agreement with the Ukraine, and the initialing of similar agreements with Moldova and Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister Linkevičius, the floor is yours.
Köszönöm szépen, János. Jó napot kívánok, everyone. That's probably all I can say at the moment, but maybe later will be something else. We're really enjoying our time in Budapest. I personally very happy to be back. I paid a visit some time ago as defense minister, I remember, now in different capacity. And we are really in the same team. We are like-minded. We have no problems, we agreed, but we have something to exchange information and to compare notes on the agenda of European Union. We are following also your footsteps because you had presidency yourself quite recently. Now we're trying, and thank you for this nice assessment a bit in advance because it's still a couple of months to go. But we have very good record of our bilateral relations. And one of the examples to mention, which is very tangible, very useful for the people at large, it's consular cooperation. And by the way, recently I gave highest award of Minister of Foreign Affairs to one of young man from consular service of Hungary, from Thailand, Laurent Endrifi, and he is one of those many who working in your embassies, in 11 embassies in the world, also for Lithuania. And we are doing the same for Hungary in 8 embassies, and that's a good example of mutual cooperation, how it could work. Good example also to others. Also, I'd like to say thank you for your assistance with regard to the policing. We value very much your participation in your policing mission in the Baltic states, which is really sharing, so to say, responsibilities and allowing us to be more strong in other areas, not to focus on this very expensive, so to say, air policing activity. A Eastern Partnership Summit was mentioned. Again, I can say they're thinking likewise, so to say. We're thinking about the same. We'd like to make it success, because it's not just a Vilnius summit, it's a summit in Vilnius. It's our common, so to say, challenge. And we all hope we'll be able to sign an association agreement with Ukraine by the time of the summit. We'll be able to initial association agreements with Moldova and Georgia, and set clear schedule for the signing procedures. This is how it works, and we believe this is yet another challenge where we can share together our thoughts and compare notes, and also agree on tactics. With regard to the other political agenda, let me mention it was already briefly touched upon by my colleague Minister. Cultural, educational cooperation we'd like to continue. This is very important. I know that our ministers of education also very much along these lines. And one more event which will take place soon afternoon, unveiling ceremony of the monument for Hedvig and Jogaila, Hungarian Hedvig and Lithuanian Duke Jogaila, who became later King of Poland. And this is a common part of our common history. So they opened gates for Lithuania to the Western values, to Western society, to Christianity. And now, after many years, we again in Budapest will unveil this monument as a symbol of something which was started so long ago, laid foundations to something which is happening now. I believe this is really important and symbolic. Also something that we should foster in the future and build upon. So thank you very much once again for the opportunity to meet. Thank you for very warm, so to say, hospitality, traditional hospitality Hungarian, and looking forward for some questions if there will be some questions.
Excellencies, thank you very much. So yes, indeed, I would like to open the floor now for questions.
I think it was clear enough.
Gergely Nyilas, Index. My question is for both of ministers. Foreign Affairs. Does Ukraine have to release Tymoshenko before you sign in Vilnius with Ukraine the association agreement? Thank you.
Presidency.
Well, we are saying all the time, and it's nothing new, they must dismiss all doubts about selective justice. The best way to do that, to release this woman from her custody, to allow her to receive medical treatment, that would be easiest way for the success, for mutual understanding and possibility to sign. So I hope we are close to that point. I hope it will be done. And the main, so to say, news are that we are really working quite closely together. And now, as we speak today, mission of Cox Kwasniewski, dispatched by the President of Euro Parliament, also back to the Kiev and working very hard. So let's wait. We'll see some results. As I said, I believe we'll be able to sign agreement by the time of the summit. And this is really close in reach. Let's not lose this momentum. János.
Well, I can only share this. I mean, we know very well that efforts are now being deployed. Just today, everybody knows about the Cox Kwasniewski mission. It is moving on. And at this point of time, I believe what we can say that we have to be optimistic about the outcome. And the conditionality principle applies, as we know. And that's why I believe that everybody has to do its utmost on both sides so that this agreement could be signed, which I believe, and we all believe, we agree, it is of strategic importance for all parties concerned.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes, please.
My name is Tamás Bobby. I'm from Hír TV, Hungarian News Television. My question would be for Mr. Linkevičius. As current holders of the EU presidency, how would you describe, or what are your opinions, what are your feelings about the recent NSA things about the wiretapping of the EU officials and countries?
Yeah, thank you. I believe all these questions should be answered. All information should be provided. It's very sensitive, very important to our people, to citizens of Europe. I believe also to citizens of US. But that shouldn't be detrimental to the overall strategic partnership between Europe and US. I'm convinced about that. We should de-dramatize situation in terms of the emotions and talk precisely about the subject. And I know that in July, and probably you know as well, a working group was established, co-chaired by the Presidency, by the way, and the Commission, and they're working, talking. So I have no doubt these issues will be solved and answered. But it shouldn't be detrimental to the overall process. In particular, let me single out the TTIP agreement with between US and Europe, which is already discussed, as you know, free trade agreement, which will be very important for both economies, growth of GDP, and for the world, frankly speaking. So let's not miss whole picture, although let's not neglect all these important issues which you raised, and I agree these questions must be answered.